Hello, grade 4. Today we will be talking about fractions. Now, fractions shows equal parts of a whole. Okay, so how it's going to work is we have a numerator and a denominator. So I will write this here for you. So here's an example. Okay, so you've seen fractions before and they're written like this. So here we have a numerator, which is 3. Okay, and I will write numerator over here. So we have a numerator. Now what a numerator is, it's the number of parts counted or separated, okay? So number of parts, I'll just write number of parts counted, which will make more sense when you see an actual picture. And then we have the 4 down here, which is the denominator. So you have, the thing that you have to remember is the denominator goes on the bottom and the numerator goes on the top. So the denominator is the equal pieces of the whole. Okay, so let me show you this with a picture. So let's just say, I'll just use my black here, I'm going to make a square. Okay, here is my square. I'm going to break it up into 4. Okay, and I will color in 2 parts of it. Or actually I'll color in 3 parts of it. I'll represent this fraction that I used. So I have 4, okay, my equal pieces of the whole, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's where I got that 4. And then the 3 comes from shading in 3 of those parts, the parts counted. So we're gonna count 1, 2, I probably should color them all in, make it look good, you know? And 3. So the parts that I counted, 1, 2, 3, and then that goes on top, which is the numerator, and on the denominator, the part on the bottom is the equal pieces of the whole. So there, as a whole, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 altogether. So the number on the bottom is always the amount altogether. The number on the top is the amount that you're counting for a particular set. So let's, let's use a more real example. Let's just say you have 4 cookies altogether, okay? And so you have 4 cookies and you give 3 of them to your friend. So there's 2 questions. 1, how many cookies did your friend get out of all the cookies you had altogether? So your friend got 3 out of 4 cookies. So the fraction would be 3 out of 4. The other question would be, well, how many cookies did you have left? How many did you have? You had a quarter of the cookies. You had 1 out of 4. So that's like a real life example that you can use. We talked about unit fractions in our assignment from yesterday. So unit fraction would just be 1 out of however many altogether. So in this case here, this is not a unit fraction because we're dealing with 3. But let's just say you had, like in the assignment we did yesterday, you have, let's just go with this little rectangle, I'll break it up into 3 equal parts, and I color in 1 of these, like this. Okay, this would represent a unit fraction because I'm only coloring in 1. So the number on top, the number that are counted, would just be 1. And then for the number on the bottom, you just have to count how many altogether. 1, 2, 3. So how many did I color here? A third. Oh, sorry, you can't see the 3. Right there, 1 out of 3. Okay, so that is, that's kind of what you need to know for right now. Actually, there's one more thing. I'll just go to a new page. So it's really important, one of the most important things to note is that you must have equal parts when we're dealing with fractions. So I'm going to show you an example of what is good and an example of what is not good. So here's a circle. I'm just going to draw a circle the best way I can. Okay, if I have a circle like this, I'm going to break it up kind of like a pie into equal parts. Now, of course, it can't be perfect because I'm just doing this by hand. Okay, this, let's just say I were to color in 3 of these, we're going to go ahead and we are going to come up with the fraction for the amount that I have colored in. And this is actually exactly what you have to do in the assignment today. You don't have to draw them, but you'll have a certain amount colored and you just have to represent it with a fraction. So let's just say we have this right here, okay? And I could say, well, how many are colored? Like, what's the fraction that's represented here? So you would go 1, 2, 3, 3 parts that are counted out of how many altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 out of 8. Okay, do you see how they're perfect? They're all the same size. You can say that this is exactly 3 out of 8. Now let's look at a bad example. Okay, I have a circle down here. Can you see it well? Let's pretend that that's a perfect circle. But instead of breaking it up the way that I broke it up here, I'm going to break it up like this. Now is that okay? Let's just say I colored in, I'm going to color in this side right here. Okay, is this a third? So if you understand what a third means, is that 1 out of 3? Is this 1/3? Is this exactly a third of this shape? Right? Well, no, it's not. It's not a third of this shape. Maybe I'll work with a half, actually. A half might be easier for you to really understand what I mean. Because when you think, well, I'll just do it over here. So here I'm going to do a circle again. And I'm going to cut it in half, but I'm actually just going to make 2 parts like this. So I'm going to color it in. I'm going to color in this section right here. And I said, hey, what is the fraction that is colored in? And you said, oh, a half. Was that true? No, yeah, 1 part is colored in, but the parts have to be equal in size, and these parts are not equal in size. So this would not be true. So we can't draw our our holes, we can't break them up like this. If you're going to break up your hole, you have to break it up into equal parts. And that's probably the most important thing for you to know for today's assignment. The assignment is just like this right here, okay? So you'll be given drawings. I'll just make sure that that's the only thing you have to do. You'll be given drawings, or they're just like, whether it be circle or square, and then you have to decide, well, what is the fraction that is represented? And that's all you have to do. And if you have any questions, let me know.